My name is Samantha Lambert. I graduated from Bowen in May of 2018 and I recently passed the bar exam. I now practice bankruptcy law at Dickerson Law Firm. A myth that I heard before starting clinic was that it was just a lot of busy work and kind of a waste of your time, but while clinic is a lot of work and you're going to put a lot of effort into it, it's actually real cases. You're dealing with people's actual lives, whether it be their taxes or their business or their marriage falling apart and their children. You're putting work into it and you actually get to see the results coming out of it. It's not just busy work. You're helping people in some of the toughest situations of their lives. One thing before I took clinic that I always thought law school was missing was the client aspect. You learn the laws and you learn how to draft a brief or a memo, but you never actually sit down and work with real clients who are actually going through these emotional times. And clinic gives you that experience. So that when you get out in the real world and you're actually practicing and you have a client, come into your office and they're upset or they're crying, you've had experience dealing with that. You know how to react. You're not just sitting there wondering what in the world you do. It also gives you just real firsthand experience you don't necessarily get in classes. I mean, you may know how to draft a complaint or something like that from class, but you may not know the process of getting it filed and getting a process server and all of that. In clinic, you do that stuff. I mean, that's on you. That's part of your job in clinic. So when you get outside and you actually start to practice, you know how things work beyond just the basics of law school. I didn't think the caseload was a lot more work compared to the other classes. I mean, it doesn't have a lot of the reading that you get in all those other classes, and it kind of makes up for it with client meetings and, when you have your case status reviews and stuff like that. But when you compare the reading to those, it all kind of balances out. I listed the working in the clinic on my resume under experience with all of my other clerkships. And when I went to interview for the position I have now, that was one of the things that the managing partner was most interested in. Like a lot of attorneys, she had experience working in a clinic, so she knew the amount of work that went into it and everything you learned from it. And so that was one of the reasons that she was really interested in my resume and one of the things we talked about a lot during my interview. I also think that the experience of clinic is attractive to employers, and many of them, when I went for interviews, would ask about that experience and what all I learned in clinic, and I just think it really looks good on your resume.